Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Freddie. I am your compliance officer. Today, I have been instructed with the task of speaking to the moral right to healthcare. Um, we're going to start off with what it is. Okay, that would be, if we have to define it, it will be the concern with principle of right and wrong regarding the cultural moral right to a basic minimum of accessible healthcare. Right, so it comes down to determining if it's a basic human right, a privilege, or an entitlement. If we look into basic human rights, it basically states that every individual, regardless of their background, their race, their religion, their political belief, should have access to healthcare. That is a God-given right. If you look at a privilege, it basically says is a special right or advantage or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. Um, Almost like, okay, if you're a working class and your employer offers it, you should have right to it, versus someone who is unemployed or cannot afford health care, then they shouldn't be entitled to that. Then entitlement is also defined as the fact of having right to something. So just having it, period, without any definition. Once you define those three, then you can make a better determination of what what you feel that it should be. In this case, if we take the Lake Wells Promise, then it basically becomes a right. Now, Lake Will's promise is we believe in the power of people to create great care, and we work hard every day to be a place of healing, care, and connection for patients and families in the community we call home. If this is in fact true, then we are trying to provide care regardless of your background or your religion or your race or if your political affiliation, just the fact that we're trying to serve our community. And if you're a part of that community, then you are entitled to that care. The next thing that we had to look at is the Lake Wales Code of Ethics. Now, it covers a wide range of different aspects of the hospital, such as community role, availability of service, admissions, marketing, relationship with payers and providers, discharging patients, and patient care. Now, I want to focus mainly on the patient care. The patient care does discuss in length um, that fact that Lake Wills is trying to provide the best possible treatment for the community itself. Now, bear with me. Now, for the community role, Lake Wills Medical Center is concerned with the overall health status of the community served while continuing to provide direct patient care services. It basically states that we're just focused on the patient itself, not on how we're being compensated in return. Of course, we are a business, um, but our main focus is always the patient. Now, let's take a look at healthcare itself here in the United States. Historically, it it has been rather expensive. If just from 1974 to 1983, it healthcare rose 14.1%. Now, from 83 to 92, it rose 9.9% each year. All right. This increase in healthcare made it nearly impossible for anyone to afford healthcare unless their employer offered it. Now, with the Affordable Care Act, many working class individuals and families have been able to afford health care, although it penalizes those who do not have health insurance. It also alleviates many that are able to see a doctor and manage their care. Now, with the Affordable Care Act, you pay health insurance depending on your income. So the more you make, the less stipend you get. The less you make, the more stipend you get. It favors um, the lower income class versus those that are well off. Now, it's impacted the industry because it brought uh, with the Affordable Care Act, it brought lots of changes, and we've had to be a little bit more transparent with the care and the type of care that we are providing. Now, we also have to uh, we have to disclose the patient satisfaction scores, and that's a huge deal. Now, patients have more of the right to be able to pick which facilities they go to. Now, another thing that we have to look at in healthcare is the social stratification. It refers to a system by which a society ranks or categorizes people in a hierarchy. So it is perfectly clear that some groups have greater status, power, and wealth than other groups. Now, of course, it all varies in, you know, whether your parents had money, where you live, where you grew up, um, do you go to the most expensive schools, that kind of stratification. Now, this has also created different tiers, not only in the health coverage provided, but also in the type of care you're provided. So different insurances offer pay differently. They have different reimbursement. So now there's a social stratification with the healthcare, depending on what kind of insurance you have, whether you have the Affordable Care Act insurance or you have private insurance through your employer. Because again, it the compensation that we as a hospital get varies depending on the insurance as well. Now, I want to talk about responsibilities. What are our responsibilities towards our responsibilities here in the hospital period? So, the hospital has a responsibility to the community to serve the community as best as possible. Now, we don't have a huge service line, but we do have good care that our patients here in the community can come and receive. Physicians have the responsibility to provide the best care possible, regardless of insurance, race, or gender, and of course, economic class. Now, nurses have the very have the responsibilities to advocate for the patient and to make sure that they're also receiving the best health care possible, the best treatment possible. Sorry, I switched that one way too fast. We as a facility also have a responsibility to our patients and also to our staff. Now, our staff, we do have a large majority of our staff that do live in this community and did grow up in this community. Therefore, they are part of the population that we are serving. So we have to always remember that. Um, Having that knowledge on how culture can determine and knowing your culture and the people that you serve will also definitely help. Now, um, the other thing is the implication. What happens going forward? Now, of course, as a facility, we must decide if there is a moral right to healthcare, or if it's a right, or not, if there's a moral right to healthcare, or if it's a privilege, or an entitlement. We definitely have to be able to know that, and I think that our care towards our community is going to be able to define that. Um, the implication for nursing is going above and beyond. I mean, we it's already expected. Now we have to make sure that we're culturally sound and educated to knowing how to provide care for those that we're for providing care for our communities, being able to address that. Now we do have the very rich that come to this hospital, and then we have the very poor. So being able to make those transitions, or just treating everybody like they're VIP. That's always been my model. You treat everyone like they're a very important person in your hospital. You can never go wrong, and you do that with your coworkers as well. So all the way from the top to the bottom, you treat them all the same with the same respect and the dignity that they deserve. I want to thank you guys for your time. Um, I'm opening now the floor for any discussion.